Good morning, children. Today we will do with the necklace by Guy de Maupassant and from the book Footprints Without Feet. Now, children, you are aware of Guy de Maupassant. I hope that he is a famous short story writer, French short story writer. He was a stalwart, you can call, in this field, and written almost 300 short stories, which you, if you read each and every story, is outstanding. Today also we are going to read an outstanding short story, Necklace. Let us start. A long story. Let us see how much we can cover. Matilda is invited to a grand party. She has a beautiful dress but no jewelry. She borrows a necklace from a friend and loses it. What happens then? Let us read. She was one of those pretty young ladies born as if through an error of destiny. Who is this she? We can understand that she is Matilda, and she was very pretty, and as if she was born out of the error of destiny into a family of clerks. Means she was such beautiful that she deserves to be born in the house of rich, like king or the monarchs or the dukes. But she was born to a very simple clerk family with her immense beauty. She had no dowry, no hopes, no means of becoming known. Very simple. So there was no chance for her to become famous or to become rich, and she did not have much dowry also, and so there was no hope to becoming famous, loved and married by a man either rich or distinguished. So there was no chance of getting married to a man who would be rich, or a man who is very distinguishable. So because her life was very simple, and so there was less chance for her to interact with people of high class society, and she allowed herself to marry a petty clerk in the office of the Board of Education. She was simple, but she was unhappy. Now, finally, she got married to, she did not have any other option but to get to married to a petty clerk, and for that she was not at all happy. Why? She suffered incessantly, constantly she suffered, feeling herself born for all delicacies and luxuries. She thought for herself that she was born to become rich and to enjoy all the luxuries of the world. She suffered from the poverty of her apartment, the shabby walls, and the worn chairs. Her beauty, her wish, her desires were absolutely opposite, or rather, absolutely unmatching with her own position. And all these things tortured and angered her. So always she felt to be very disappointed and irritated. When she seated herself for dinner opposite her husband, who uncovered the tureen with a delighted air, saying, "Oh, the good pot pie! I know nothing better than that." A man, a simple clerk, very happy and contented with with his simple life. So whenever she opened the bowl on the table, dinner table, every time he felt that he was very happy, and that was the best food that was served to him, satisfied always. And she would think of elegant dinners of shining silver, and just the opposite for Matilda, who thought about beautiful utensils on a beautiful table arranged in a beautiful manner. She thought of the exquisite food served in marvelous dishes. She had neither nor jewels, neither forks nor sorry, she had neither frocks nor jewels, nothing, and she loved only those things. She did not have beautiful dresses and jewelries, but she loved and cared for all those beautiful things. All the luxuries of the world attracted Matilda most. She had a rich friend. Only she had a rich friend, a schoolmate at the convent, who she did not like to visit. She suffered so much when she returned because whenever she visited there and returned, she felt very inferiority complex that she could not achieve her friend's level because her friend was rich. She wept for whole days from despair and disappointment. One evening, her husband returned elated, bearing in his hand a large envelope. Here, he said, here is something for you. The man was very excited to have something to show her. She quickly drew out a printed card on which were inscribed these words that there was an invitation. And instead of being delighted, as her husband had hoped, she threw the invitation spitefully upon the table, murmuring, "What do you suppose I want with that?" She was not at all satisfied with the invitation card. "But, my dearie, I thought it would make you happy. You never go out, and this is an occasion and a fine one. Everybody wishes one, and it is very select. Not many are given to employees. You will see the whole official world there." My husband was very surprised that it was a very nice invitation where you would like to go, where you preferred to go, and it was given to a very handful people who were best chosen, selected people. So definitely the class would be maintained, and so if you visit there, you'd like it, you would enjoy it. Husband thought it in that way. She looked at him with an irritated eye and declared impatiently, "What do you suppose I have to wear to such a thing as that?" He had not thought of that. Now Matilda was part out, for she did not have any dress to compete with the other invitees in the party. She had to match up with them, but she did not have. So she felt very disappointed and irritated that what would this party be for her, because she would not be able to go, as because she did not have any good dress. He had not thought of that. He stammered, "Why, the dress you wear when we go to the theatre? It seems very pretty to me." The man was confused that the dress that you wear always when you go to the theatre, you look very beautiful in that dress. That is good, that is enough. He was silent, stupefied in dismay. He was very stupefied, very surprised that this could be a point of disappointment he did not understand. So he stammered, "What's the matter? What is the matter?" By a violent effort, she had controlled her vexation and responded in a calm voice, wiping her moist cheeks, "Nothing. Only I have no dress, and consequently I cannot go to this affair." That, no, sorry, I cannot go to this affair because I don't have a proper dress to go or visit to the party. Give your card to some colleague whose wife is better fitted out than I. He was grieved, but answered, "Let us see, Matilda. How much would a suitable costume cost? Something that would serve for other occasions, something very simple." Then the man offered that how much it could cost that would be matching for that or up to the mark for that party. How much would it cost? And definitely it would be costly. And if it is costly, see that it could be worn in next other parties also. It would not be wasted because much money would be invested in that. See, and which is not so costly that we cannot bear. She reflected for some seconds, thinking of a sum that she could ask for without bringing with an immediate refusal and a frightened exclamation from the economical clerk. She just calculated an amount for the dress which would be affordable by the clerk, which would not make the clerk surprised or had to say no. So that is why she calculated an amount which would be affordable. Finally, she said in a hesitating voice, I cannot tell exactly, but it seems to me that 400 francs ought to cover it. He turned a little pale, for he had saved just this sum, that is 400 francs, to buy a gun that he might be able to join some hunting parties the next summer with some friends who went to shoot larks on Sunday. So he got a bit pale because this amount he saved to buy a gun to join a hunting party with his friends in the summer for hunting larks on Sundays. Nevertheless, he answered, very well, I'll give you 400 francs, but try to have a pretty dress. So the man, of course, that they are ready to sacrifice for their family. And here also, he sacrificed for his wife, for his beautiful wife, that he would give that money to buy the dress, but confirm that it should be a pretty one so that you look really pretty and be presentable in the party. The day of the ball approached, and Madame Loisel seemed sad, disturbed, anxious. This is MME. Actually, it's in French, Madame. Mouchard and Madame, as they say. So, Madame Loisel seemed sad, disturbed, anxious. Nevertheless, her dress was nearly ready. Her husband said to her one evening, what is the matter with you? You have acted strangely for 2 or 3 days. Now your demand was for a good dress, and it is almost ready. Still, you doesn't seem to be happy. What is the reason? What has happened to you? And she responded, I'm vexed not to have a jewel. For the dress, it should be accentuated with a good jewelry. I don't have that jewelry. Nothing to adorn myself with. How can I beautify myself without a good jewelry? I shall have such a poverty stricken look. I would prefer not to go to this party. He replied, you can wear some natural flowers because what he had given. Nothing extra he had to give more. So the only he was trying to solve it out. So suggesting that you can wear now natural flowers because in this season they look very rich, very chic, very beautiful. She was not convinced. No, she replied. There is nothing more humiliating than to have a shabby air in the midst of rich women. Among the rich women, how can I present myself in this shabby attire or shabby jewelry, not properly decked up to the mark? Then her husband cried out, how stupid we are! Go and find your friend, Madame Forestier, and ask her to lend you her jewels. She uttered a cry of joy. It is true, she said. I had not thought of that. Now you remember that she had a very rich friend. Now the husband suggested that you can go and have a jewelry for one day, for one evening. You can have that jewelry from her. I had not thought of that. The next day she took herself to her friend's house and related her story of distress. Madame Forestier went to her closet, took out a large jewel case, brought it, opened it, and said, choose, my dear. She saw at first some bracelets and uh, sorry, choose, my dear. She saw at first some bracelets, then a collar of pearls, then a Venetian cross of gold and jewels of admirable workmanship. She tried the jewels before the glass, hesitated, but could neither decide to take them nor leave them. Then she asked, "Have you anything? Nothing? Have you nothing more? That do you have anything more so that I can choose from that lot?" Why, yes, look for yourself. I do not know what will please you. Suddenly, she discovered in a black satin box a superb necklace of diamonds. Her hands trembled as she took it out. She placed it about her throat against her dress and was ecstatic. Then she asked in a hesitating voice, full of anxiety, "Could you lend me this? Only this?" "Why, yes, certainly," because that was a diamond, costly. So she hesitated that definitely her friend might not accept to give that. But friend was very open minded. She said, "Yes, why not?" She fell upon the neck of her friend, embraced her with passion, then went away with her treasure. The day of the ball arrived. Mademoiselle was a great success. How she was a great success? She was the prettiest of all, the best looking lady, the most presentable lady in the ball, elegant, gracious, smiling, and full of joy. All the men noticed her, asked her name, and wanted to be presented. What else did she want? She wanted this only, to be noticed, to be admired, to be appreciated, and that was done. Successful. She danced with enthusiasm, intoxicated with pleasure, thinking of nothing but all this admiration, this victory so complete and sweet to her heart. At least in her whole life, finally she got the admiration what she wanted, the attention that she intended for throughout her life. She went home towards 4 o'clock in the morning. The whole night she was there. Her husband had been half asleep in one of little salons since midnight, with three other gentlemen whose wives were enjoying themselves very much. He threw around her shoulders the modest wraps they had carried, whose poverty clashed with the elegance of the ball costumes. The modest wrap. Now, when she would leave the ball, when she would come out, she had to wrap her because it was cold outside. So, the wrapper that she carried was not in the same, means what you can say, matching with her dress, because it was shabby, it was poverty stricken. So she wished to hurry away in order not to be noticed by the other women who were wrapping themselves in rich furs. Loisel detained her. "Wait," said he, "I'm going to call a cab." But she would not listen and descended the steps rapidly. When they were in the street, they found no carriage, and they began to seek for one, hailing the coachman whom they saw at a distance. Finally, they saw someone, a coachman, in a distance, and they walked along towards the river, hopeless and shivering. Finally, they found one of those old carriages that one sees in Paris after nightfall, common for the common people. It took them as far as their door, and they went wearily up to their apartment. It was all over for her. Finally, she returned home, happy and contented. And on his part, and for the gentleman, he remembered that he would have to be at the office by 10 o'clock. So the next day, he had his office, so he could not afford any more time in thinking about the ball. And but the lady was still in the trance of the previous night's ball. She removed the wraps from her shoulders before the glass for a final view of herself, because she doesn't know again a day would come in her life or not to deck up or to beautify herself in such a way, to see herself in such a beautiful attire, whether a chance would come or not. So finally, she wanted to see herself for a final view of herself in her glory. Suddenly, she uttered a cry. Her necklace, her necklace was not around her neck. The necklace that she borrowed from her friend was not around her neck. Loisel, already half undressed, asked, "What is the matter?" She turned towards him excitedly. I have no longer have Madame Forster's necklace." He arose in dismay. "What? How is that? It is not possible." And they looked in the folds of the dress, in the folds of the cloak, in the pockets, everywhere. They could not find it. He asked, "You are sure you still had it when we left the minister's house?" "Yes, I felt it was we came out. But if you had lost it in the street, we should have heard it fall. It must be in the cab. So when we were walking down, if it would fall, we could hear, could feel it. But we did not hear so. So that means if you had it in the minister's house, it was no way in the way. So that means it has got dropped in the cab. Yes, it is possible. Did you take the number? No. And you? Did you notice what it was? No. They looked at each other, utterly cast down. Finally, Lozel dressed himself again. I am going, he said, over the track where we went on foot to see if I can find it. Now he went out, he rushed out to see that if he could find out on the way the way they came. And he went. She remained in her evening gown, not having the force to go to bed. Towards 7 o'clock, her husband returned. He had found nothing. He went to the police and to the cab offices and put an advertisement in the newspapers offering a reward. At least reward would be lesser than the cost of the diamond necklace. So he offered a reward also for that. But unfortunately, they did not find it. She waited all day in a state of bewilderment before this frightful disaster. Loisel returned in the evening, in his face pale. He had discovered nothing. He said, write to your friend that you have broken the clasp of the necklace and that you will have it repaired. Then that will give us time. Now, what will they reply to the friend? So they decided that they would, for to take some time, she would write that the hook has got broken and she wants some time to repair it. She wrote as he dictated. At the end of a week, they had lost all hope. 7 days gone, they waited that they might get it back. But 7 days gone, they did not get it back. And Loisel, older by 5 years, declared, we must replace this jewel. Now, within few days, he became older. Face became older with wrinkles, with thoughts. And they decided that they had to return it. In a shop of the Palace Royal, they found a chaplet of diamonds which seemed to them exactly like the one they had lost. It was valued at 40,000 francs. Compare the money he saved. 40,000 francs. They could get it for 36,000. So they could give it at 30,000, but it was exactly the same that she lost. Loisel possessed 18,000 francs which his father had left him. He borrowed the rest. He made ruinous promises. Now he borrowed the rest from different people. 18 only he had. 36, half only he had that he inherited from his father. That would be the only last resort for their old age. That would have to be given. Along with that, more 18 was needed. So he borrowed, he made ruinous promises, very strong, odd promises, which was very difficult to fulfill. Even he did that type of promises to get money, take money from usherers and the whole race of lenders. In all way, he borrowed the money from wherever it was possible. Then he went to get the new necklace, depositing on the merchant's counter 36,000 francs. When Madame Loisel took back the jewels to Madame Forestier, the latter said, that is, Madame Forestier said to her in a frigid tone, you should have returned them to me sooner, for I might have needed them. She was a bit disappointed for not getting the jewelry on time. Let us stop here for today.